and I'm going to start creating my layers. So to do that, you're going to want to go to your default tab, and you'll have this layers tab underneath, and if you don't, you can go to Windows, default tray, and select layers, and then this layers tab will appear, and you can start adding layers for things like walls, floors, windows, doors, whatever is going to be included within your model. So I'm just going to start by adding layers, and you can do that by pressing this plus icon, and I'm going to name them as I go. And of course you can have more layers for, let's say, furniture and equipment and things like that. And over here, as you can tell, each layer is associated with a color, and you can change those colors by pressing the color and just selecting different colors on the color wheel. That way you're able to differentiate which colors are associated with which layer. So once you have your colors for each layer selected and you have each layer named, all you have to do is make sure that if you're drawing walls, make sure you're in that layer. And the same thing with all of the other components. So let's say I start drawing a wall. I'm going to do that with my line tool for now. I'm just going to draw a section of one of these walls. I'm gonna push the wall up using my push and pull tool. Okay, and then if I want to move on to this window, all I have to do is, actually before I move on, it might be easier to make this a component. That way whenever you start drawing the window, it doesn't blend in all together. So if you select the whole wall, right click and make it a group or a component, this will make things a lot easier on you when you're drawing. So then I'm going to go to my Windows layer, and I'm going to start drawing my window. And I'm just going to make it a floor to ceiling window. Actually, I'm going to use my line tool. Might make it easier. Okay, then I'm gonna pull it a little bit so it gives a dimension. I'm gonna make it into a component. And now, so now that you have these, some of these components, you can turn on and off the layers of the objects that you drew. So one thing you want to do is double check that you drew these in the correct layers, and to do that you can press on the object, go to Entity Info under your default trays, and under Layer you can move it to different layers. So we did not draw this in the correct layer because our pencil was this little pencil that appears is where it's telling you you're drawing your object in, so we drew it in layer 0. So even if you press on a layer this way, it still won't identify it as you drawing it in that layer. So you have to make sure you're selecting the layers on this right tab over here with the pencil highlighting the layer. So in order to move this window to the Windows layer, all we would have to do is right click, go to Entity Info, or go to Entity Info underneath the default tray, make sure the window is selected, and then move it to our Windows layer. Okay, Once you do that, we can hide the layers we don't want to see. So if we don't want to see the windows, we can press this eye icon and it'll hide that layer. We can also hide our walls. So you can do that. It might help to clarify certain areas that you couldn't see as well before. But basically, layers help organize your drawing to better be able to navigate through it.